welcome to Tribe Talks. And we have an amazing guest here today. We have Dr. Chaitanya Sridhar, a pioneer sports psychologist and a trans-species psychologist. And she's worked with many IPL players. She's worked with Olympic medalists as well. So we have her here today, and I'm so excited to be having this conversation with her. Thank you so much for coming and being here.
Hi, Keerthana. Thank you for having me and congratulations and well done on starting. I love the word thrive. I think that's the need of the hour. So,
Thank
way to
you.
go. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to have this conversation about ecosystems. I know we've discussed that quite a bit, just the two of us.
And in our book.
Yeah, and in our book as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you see the ecosystem right now in Indian sport, what excites you the most today?
You're talking of the Indian sporting ecosystem?
Indian sporting ecosystem and how sports psychology and where sports psychology is actually heading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you remember our conversation prior to starting our book, Minds in Motion.
Yes.
Was, the talk was, Indian athletes, lacking in mental strength, sports psychology,
it's still new in India.
It's still new. It's kind of like was coming in a very negative way.
Yeah.
Whereas this year, honestly, has been including the Army Sports Conclave I was recently part of, and the
TASCON as well.
Yeah, TASCON that we've just recently completed. I feel like the shift is more towards how do we integrate, how is it impacting, and seeing not just people on the podium, but seeing young athletes, seeing stakeholders, coaches actually coming on board.
Yeah.
And that question that young psych put across to the second panel, was which is I think also bringing out the nuances of where, how, and are we really integrating, which I feel we're penetrating.
Absolutely. I think to give a little bit more context to our audience, the question from the panel was, question from the young sports psychologist to the panel was, why or is it the case that sports psychologists are approached the last in a sports science team? And I also love the answer that Sharat Kamal had given. And I think, I think we're all heading in the direction of integration. I think you're so right about it. Yeah, that's very...
Yeah, and also, if like see, I've been called in various sport programs, you've been there.
Yeah.
For other panelists, former players, administrators to now start talking about it, I feel like that is something which I'm just really pleasantly happy. I'm very grateful that this shift is happening.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. But now that this shift is happening, and I know earlier, I think before COVID, we used to say people are misunderstanding sports psychology, and I mean, they may be not knowing sports psychology, but I think now there's quite a bit of misunderstanding about a sports psychologist. What, in your opinion, in a system or in an environmental context, how do you think people are misunderstanding the role of sports psychology? Do you think they're comprehending that the right way?
So if we look at the West, sports psychology is an integral part.
Absolutely.
We are coming there, but we're not yet there. Let's be honest with where we are. And I think with what's expected, I think there's a glamorization of sports side.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah.
And also this quick fixes.
Absolutely. Like as if you're a magician or Maggie noodles.
Yeah. Instant era, right? Exactly. The quick fixes. Also, or someone came to you and if you're bringing them in at the nth minute, you're messing up with the system of that individual.
Absolutely.
Right? So I have an issue when they come to you, be it via coach or, the athlete themselves. Because you're kind of going, how your psychological safety, because I'm like, is this a good point? Is this a good time to actually introduce something which is not part of their system?
Exactly.
Right. So I kind of feel like there is misconception, and I think that's where the role also becomes very important.
Yeah.
Our role is shifting also with not just with the athlete per se, but helping the ecosystem, especially your leadership group and the coach in particular, to understand?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we need to look at this as, the athlete as the spine and then the entire muscle supporting them, and sports science team needs to be backed by sports psychologists and some kind of mental health literacy so that
Definitely
they actually come to an understanding of what we do.
Yeah. And I think also if you again take the model, right? If you take the Levin's field theory, so you've got the individual athlete and then the supporting, who's your immediate support after the family and friends, you're coaching. How much work am I doing? And even as sports sites, I'm guessing we'll talk about this at some point of time. How much are you reflecting about yourself, your work?
How do we show up?
How do we show up? How present are we? And also, when we need to get vetted or checked, are you being reflective? And owning up to that yourself. Absolutely. Because if not, it's not fair on what you're bringing into the system.
Absolutely. I think it's not the right work to do as well. Recently I was part of a congress, and we had Ali talking to us. He speaks a lot about self-care for sports psychologists, and he spoke about how that is it needs to be part of our ethical code of conduct, if anything, right? So definitely the way we show up needs to be different. Yeah.
And I like that word because it is self-care, because the psyche is going to be in a threatened state if they don't do the work or they don't seek, or they, for whatever reason, they don't have that support, then that's what you're bringing into the field with your athlete team, which can get dangerous.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You've been around for quite some time.
You're making
and I want to
shit now.
No, you witness sports psych in a very different way from all of us have. And I want to understand, how do you think the role of a sports psychologist has changed over the last few years?
Yeah. I think that's a very good question, Keerthana, because when I started having done my PhD in Australia, it was a very conscious choice to come back because I wanted to serve Indian sport. Athletes would hide and come, especially when I started in Bangalore.
I can imagine.
They would come via the physiotherapy room because the coach would say, you're not mad, why are you going to a side? Then it moved to athletes seeking you out, at the individual. Then it was, you had the coaches, occasional coaches. I felt very supported by a lot of my seniors. I'm not just talking of sports science, but I'm talking of the sports science. And I think now, since I got into IPL with RCB and all, I'm very careful and I'm very diligent in going, where am I putting my energy? Because if the leadership group is in sync with you, your job is half done. And I think to witness that shift, right, has been heartening. I've been part of now various, especially the Army Conclave, to see them embracing psychology, to see people understanding how the ecosystem supports, because then our athletes are going to thrive.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's the environment we've co-jointly started creating. So I feel like I'm quite satisfied with where we are. Though of course we still have a few months to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think in our next episode, we'll be talking about how we can look at systems rather than individuals and all of that. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us in this episode and looking forward to our next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you.